Howdy, y'all. How we doing today? While we're at it, let's get this day started right. Is this thing on? Just me and my cutter? Hey, I don't blame you for not being here. I'm betting Simon's on. How's it going, Raphael? Like I said, I'm willing to bet Simon's probably doing a live or something. No big deal. Simon's allowed to do lives. I don't own this time slot. I'm just here. How is life in Florida, Raphael? I'm the only live right now? Well, it is my fault then. I guess I disappointed everybody when I ate crickets last night. Cloudy. Here too. It keeps acting like it's going to break through and have some sunshine, and then it just clouds right back up. I mean, all day. You can see the puddle at the end of the sidewalk. I'll be hopping that later. when the mail person shows up. I don't know anybody who waters their lawn as much as this lawn's been watered this year. Haven't turned the hose on once. Not true. I do sometimes have to spray some stuff off outside. Haven't turned the water sprinkler on all year. True. Thought about it once or twice, and then it would rain. I stopped thinking about it. Today's program is brought to you by the people that brought you Cutter, because mosquitoes suck, and Oliva G, so that you also can suck on a cigar. There's two people here. Come on, somebody other than Raphael say howdy or something. Anything. Is it Lady Fire? If it's Lady Fire, tell her I apologize. Raphael, did you hear what I said about teaching a woman to smoke cigars? I'll say it again. I'm not ashamed of it. This works. It always works. It works just right. You will not get a second date, but it works. How to teach a woman to smoke a cigar. What you do is you cut the cap for them. Whether you use a knife or a cutter or a punch, doesn't matter. You cut the cap of the cigar for a woman. You hand it to them. Like that. You just hand it to them. As they take it from you, you say, put just the tip of this in your mouth and suck on it. That's all you need to do to teach a woman to smoke a cigar. The rest of it comes pretty natural. I mean, you might want to tell her, don't inhale, and, oh, I'll bring the flame towards you. Don't try to bring the cigar towards me. But other than that, that's about it. That's literally all you have to do to teach a woman to smoke a cigar. Guys want to somehow make this stuff difficult. And now I'm going to tell you, if you use that exact terminology and she sticks around, smile real big and chisel the date in stone, because it's on. If she walks away from you in disgust, she didn't want the cigar anyways. I know, it sounds so bad, so horrible. Don't say that to a woman. Oh my God, you can't say that to a woman. "50 years ago, yeah, you'd probably get beat half to death for saying something like that. Could be, Paul, could be. Make sure that there's no cast iron in her grasp either. Especially if it's by the stove. And she's got like bacon and eggs going. Oh, that's a good way to get burnt. But as I was saying, 50 years ago, yeah, you'd get beat half to death saying something like that to a woman. 50 years ago, you'd never heard of a young lady by the name of Ronda Rousey that could just physically walk up and beat you half to death, whether you're a good fighter or not. Times have changed. You're not trying to tell them something wrong. You don't deep throat the damn thing. You just put just the tip of it in your mouth and suck on it. Somebody wants to complain about that statement? Hey, don't enjoy cigars then. It's that simple. So I'll tell you a quick little funny story. Portsmouth, I believe you did. Right, Paul? It's a good time to have a gun if you live in London. Let them bring a knife to a gunfight. I don't have to be faster than you. I don't have to be bigger than you. I don't have to be more skilled than you. All I have to do is say, I don't want to fight you. Bang. Here in Texas, it works. Crime actually dropped. Violent crime, murders, actually dropped when we legalized concealed carry, and then again when we legalized open carry. And pretty soon we're supposed to be legalizing constitutional carry. Paul, I'm going to make a suggestion to you. You need to contact one Mr. Philip Rivara and request a cane. I have this feeling that you could whoop the shit out of somebody with a cane, but it's just your walking stick, and it looks like a cane. It's not there to protect myself, it's there so I have good balance. What, I'm supposed to cross this bridge and not have good balance? I could end up in the river. Huva ilta, Boris. Jamuvaki. Or is that Yamuvaki? Well, if you can't have pepper gas, I guess you can't have mustard gas either. Yes, Paul, I agree with that statement, and it's a crime against law-abiding citizens. Don't worry, Paul, there's many things wrong with the United States also. I try not to capitalize on all the wrong things, though. Mostly because I really like it here. I actually do have a cane. No, I don't know where it is. I know it's upstairs somewhere. I'm not going to run inside and go get it. Well, Paul, what you need to do is start the mysterious they down the path of, well, what happens when I decide I'm coming to get what's mine back from you who told me I had to just give it away? And they'll tell you, oh, well, we have the military and the police protecting us. And that's when you say, well, fine. Make sure that I'm part of the constabulary so that I can whoop somebody's ass and not have to feel bad about it. I'm just protecting the government. They won't like that statement. They won't like that statement at all. You will be seen as a dissenter. People will shun you. To which at that point I'll say, yeah, but what's mine is mine. And if you don't like it, I can tell you where to go. Yeah, but Paul, I'm going to remind y'all of the simple statement that comes out every time somebody decides that they are about to fuck the shit out of a country. Give up your arms for the children. It's for the safety of the children. Who do you think the children are in a government that is all powerful and controlling? Everybody's their child. You are a serf, a subject. If you don't believe me, go look at what happened in Nazi-controlled Germany. They brought the children in, and they had Hitler's Youth and various other things, and they marched with pride up and down the streets, and they were telling their own parents, turn in your firearms, you don't need them. I hear you, Paul. But yeah, so shortly after turn in your firearms, you don't need them, is turn in your house, you don't need that. Turn in your job, here's the food allotment that you get this week. Over a dime bag of weed. That's pretty pathetic. Of course, here in Texas, it's still illegal, so I wouldn't be telling anybody we're fighting over some weed. But yeah, seriously though, if you look at every country that has gone either fascist or communist, every one of them, they start pretty close to just before they go full on, let's just go ahead and gang rape the whole country. They start with, we need to disarm the citizens so that only those of us who are in power will have the ability to actually do anything about it. Gotta remember, the Nazis first invaded Germany. If you think about it. Unfortunately, Paul, you still wouldn't be able to live next to me if you owned a Mac 10. Um, Actually, you might be able to, but there's no houses available right now next to me. I've been up and down the street a few times. Hi, Sharon. Yes, I'm absolutely fantastic. So, Paul, we wouldn't actually have a problem with you owning a Mac 10. You would just need to apply for a Class 3 license. And Class 3 license is very expensive. Oh, 9mm firearms, 45s, 50 Desert Eagle. There's a whole lot of those right here in this neighborhood. Oh, that would be a problem, Paul. Not a problem, Raphael. You take care. Paul, you can't move in to a location where my wife would shoot you. I like you too much to let that happen, brother. Boris, there is that specific statement of truth, but you have to remind yourself that before the Nazis took over, pretty much every person in Germany had a firearm of some type, whether it be a handheld or a rifle of some sort. And as things progressed, the Nazis came into what I call soft power. They got themselves elected through, and some of it was kind of nefarious if you look at some of it. Some strong arm tactics, and then they started doing riots all over the place, and I believe it was the brown shirts, and they would just drag people out of cars and buildings and this, that, the other, and just beat them half to death and this, that, the other. And they would use weapons, and the government said, you got to turn in your weapons. And then there was the Night of the Long Knives, where pretty much everybody who was a brown shirt was slaughtered, because they had acquired what they really, really wanted out of them, which was enough fear in society that they would actually do what they thought was the better option. They were giving up their liberties and freedoms for a sense of security. And there was a famous guy, one of the forefathers of the United States, that said, if you give up liberties and freedoms for security, you didn't deserve any of it. Paul, it is quite possible that he could. I'm not sure how you would actually get it into the UK, though. That would be the challenge. I'm fairly certain there would be enough possibilities, and I could probably design a few possibilities of how to get it into the UK. I'm just not sure how to make sure that you would be the one that acquired it. What it needs to be is you basically pay double for something to be shipped, like a sofa bed. And the parts have been disassembled and arranged in the frame of the sofa bed in such a way that it can be taken apart and reassembled correctly by the end user, and that after they have actually said, okay, sofa bed has been delivered, you email then the instructions on how to take it apart, but you email it in stages. You don't email it all at once. And it's very possible that those emails could still be being monitored. I mean, I've heard of people in the UK going to jail over Twitter and Facebook posts. Yes, Boris, I agree with you. But I don't agree with giving up the guns. I mean, there's a lot that happened that created the Nazi Germany. You got to remember, they were basically paying forever on the repercussions of World War One, and they were never going to get out of that debt. So the Nazi Party basically did away with any kind of money while the government was shoving all of their money towards the debt that they had acquired from World War One. But then they started doing stuff like building what was known as pocket battleships and stuff like that. Because certain rules that were set down from World War One were still screwing with Nazi Germany. And then it wasn't until the Bismarck, where Nazi Germany finally just said, you know what, screw it, we don't give a shit about your rules. To the rest of the world, that's what they said. But that was already after they had gobbled up, Poland? Austria? Howdy, Steph. In and out of sleep. So, Steph, I never really did get to find out, how did you like that particular cigar? Well, Paul, you're lucky to be alive if that's actually the case. Howdy, Eddie. Steph, the other day you had a cigar. It was the Alec Bradley Black Market Filthy Hooligan. And I forgot to ask, how did you really like it? I mean, you said that it was pretty good. Was it one of those that you would say, I liked it well enough that if I saw another one, I would get another one? Or did you just say, well, it was nice? Damn. That'd have been the worst years. Good, good. Glad to hear it. Okay. I gotta kill a bee before it kills me. Hey, did you see it fly across the screen? I did. Damn, Paul, there was a lot of people that never made it back from getting picked up in France. One of my favored war heroes from World War II, Chuck Yeager, God rest his soul. He actually had to cross mountains in France to get out of occupied France. And then they were going to not let him go back and be a fighter pilot again. And he made such an ass of himself that they finally just said, fine, put him back in a plane. I've studied various different maps and stuff of how things damn. Yeah, there was really no Geneva Convention back in the day. Got to remember, they were still using mustard gas in the trenches. There's been a lot of stuff that's been outlawed because war is the worst thing that humans can do to each other. All right, maybe that's just my opinion, but it really is. Takes those of good mind and conscience, turns them into killers. But they're just trying to survive. Man. I wish I still had all the stuff that that was my grandfather's. Being the youngest of all of his grandchildren, I basically got whatever was left over that nobody wanted. But he had a katana that he brought home from the Philippines. He also had a silver star from the Philippines. There was that. And my other grandfather served as basically a mail clerk in somewhere in France once the Allies basically had completely stalled the Germans out. Well, Paul, that's a marvelous thing, and I'm going to say this to anybody that wants to say anything about that statement. There were two kind of men that came back from World War II. Those you wanted to be and those you wanted to know. And then there were those that you wanted to have nothing to do with. And my grandfather was one of those that came back being one of those that you'd want to be and want to know. But I met a lot of those same guys that were didn't want to know them, didn't want nothing to do with them. Again, war is hell, and I'm not going to tell anybody that they have to let that go. Hey, I was in the Army. It took me many years to just let it go. I stayed mad all the time. That's just the way it was. I'm much happier having said, hey, you know what, I'm good. Americans beat him up and knocked him around with... Paul, was he German? There's a lot of bad guys on both sides of that war. Don't get me wrong. That was back in the day where... Oh, okay. Well, don't get me wrong. There were some Americans that did some pretty horrible stuff. And I'm not gonna try and outright discuss that. When you're fighting for your life, sometimes it just changes you, and there's no going back from it. God, he wasn't found until 2 months after the war. So he's really lucky to be alive, because there was a lot of those prisoner of war camps that they lined up all the prisoners of war and they said, hey, we're leaving. Y'all are dead. Well, Boris, in my opinion, that's a horrible reason that we can't do parades. Here in the United States, we just recently had Memorial Day. And a lot of people nowadays think that it's just a 3-day weekend and, hey, it's time to barbecue, get together with all kind of people. No, Memorial Day is supposed to be a day we remember those that gave everything. And I've taken it a little bit farther. Because I do have friends that are in Japan, and I do have friends in Germany, people I've actually met physically, not online like this. So every year for Memorial Day, I get a name of one person to carry around with me that's Japanese, and one person to carry around with me that is German. And well, they're not running out of names on either side of that. Just like here in the United States, we're not going to run out of names. But I send them equally a name for them to carry around. I don't know if they do, but it's just one of those things. There were husbands and fathers and brothers and sons and, hell, civilians. All right, maybe not so many civilians in the United States, but hey, you know, Hawaii actually did happen. And there were plenty of those guys going across on ships that were just delivering supplies. And Boris, I'm glad that we're not speaking Russian when we say hello. I am not sad about that at all. Because if we were, I'd have to have Holly out here so that she could tell me what you're saying. She actually studied Russian so that she could work in the space industry at one point in time. Been to Moscow twice. Once pre-coup, once after the coup. And yeah, some of the stories she told of what communism was is eye-opening. Eddie, I am not sure why poppies became some sort of big deal during Memorial Day. I'll start looking it up, though. Because, well, never thought to even think about it. I mean, I'm always thinking about stuff. I'm always trying to learn something. So, Chad, you're saying that the poppies became something for Memorial Day because of World War I Flanders fields? At least I hope that's what you're saying. Y'all got to remember, Chad knows so much crazy, crazy facts. I used to think that I had a good knowledge of useless information. I think Chad's part Encyclopedia Britannica. Because he doesn't look that stuff up, he just like knows it. Oh, that's right, Flanders Fields. That's the place that everybody was saying. It's like right near France, some way, shape, or form. Somewhere right near the border with France, because Trump was 90 minutes away from that location by helicopter, and the Marine pilot said he didn't see he didn't have enough field of vision with the rain to feel safe about flying the president. So Donald Trump then called off his visit to Flanders Field, and then like all the other foreign dignitaries showed up to it, except for the United States, and made him look like an ass. But then it became somehow he hated veterans because of that. I seem to remember that was possibly something like that. Howdy, Everett. Oh, by the way, Chad, howdy and hello. Forget to say hello when people drop in and slap me in the head with some knowledge. Careful, Eddie. Don't say that in front of Chad. Your supply will walk up and leave you. Is everybody smoking haunted bookshop except for Donald? I'm waiting on the mailman so that I can get my 3 pounds and a 10. I was hoping he'd show up sometime during this live feed. But, well, guess it didn't happen. McBaron Golden Extra. Ah, Chad's taking it easy. Nice. So I've got 3 pounds, 3 different pounds of tobacco coming in, and 110. The 10 is Warped Cloud Hopper, because I do like that cigar. Ugh. Everett, are you going to make it till then? And Boris, that's like a crime. Windjammer. I heard so much about Windjammer, but every time I was going to order, everybody was out of it. And now I'm just like, I'm done with it. I don't chase blends. If I can't find it at all, or if I'm just not going to look for it, then I don't. I missed out on 8 State Burley, mostly because Burley gives me the hiccups. I don't know why. It's not the strength of the tobacco, it's just that it gives me the hiccups. Eddie, I remember the Cloud Hopper cigar when it first came out. A couple of years ago now, and it was exceptionally good. So seeing that they blended a Cloud Hopper for pipe tobacco, I was like, I gotta give that a shot. Okay, so all the bearded ones, the severely bearded ones, are smoking something golden, and the rest of y'all are smoking one of Chad's favorites. I don't have any more crickets there, Chad. They were pretty good, though, if you could get past the sawdust texture. That was the hard part. It was like chewing a spoon of sawdust. Howdy, Flatcap. Glad to have you back. Well, Sharon, it's not required that you smoke to enjoy these live streams. And if you ever have questions or you feel like you want to learn a little bit, I'm going to tell you, there's a whole lot of us in here, me included, that would be glad to try and help you out as much as we can. Trying to find another type of mustache wax. According to a guy I know named Dave, and a recent video by a guy named Glenn, and my past recollection, you might be able to get away with Vegemite. And if y'all are wondering about the mic version of soda today, it's because it's the only thing I've found that cuts the taste of Cutter. And when you spray that stuff up in a big cloud and you try to get it all over you, the little bit of it ends up like at the nose and maybe a little bit on your tongue. And it's pretty horrible. But it keeps the mosquitoes out. And if y'all have been paying attention the last couple of days or so, I've been leaving early from streams because I've gotten bit too damn many times. Eddie, yes, I have gotten called on the 6 for 6. I do not want to just run through it right here, right now. I did plan on making a full-on VR, but mostly because the phone that I'm using for a camera, I took all my notes of what those questions, it's 6 questions. It's actually 5 questions and name 6 people, but okay. So the 6 questions challenge. If y'all want to type in the questions, I will answer them as quickly as I can. But I will be doing a VR to that specific question probably in the next day or two. And I was called out by a sentimental man. Well, I did the mosquito spreader, the little granules that you spread out in the yard, and it helped a little bit, but it doesn't do very much for right here in the concrete and bricks. So I got a bottle of spray just to keep them from chewing me alive. But yeah, I remember there was like, what was it? Desert Islands blends, somebody that you'd want to smoke with, a channel that you would recommend for new smokers. There's 5 questions in there. For me, I was like, man, this is going to be a real short video because I don't feel the need to actually explain everything. Just don't. Of course, for me, a short video means it's going to run less than an hour. I can turn a 5-minute post into a 25-minute video. I get off on wild tangents. I speak at a slow pace. I try to stay understood. Earlier today, I tried to take a picture of a woodpecker. It flew right past this side of the screen, just out past the bricks, flew over onto this tree. It's huge. I mean, he's as big as a 2-year-old. Bright red. Came to that point right at the back of his head. He didn't go to hammering on none of my trees, so I mean, I'm okay there. I'm going to take your word for it, Chad. He had this like almost stork-like neck, long. His back was black, and there was just a little bit of white on his chest. And I say he because I know that the female tend to be much more muted in colors of pretty much the whole aviary, the bird population of the world. Reed Bender, howdy sir. How are you doing, bud? If you feel like including me, Paul, just go right ahead. You can't offend me. Though I do tend to come with a statement of not safe for work and not appropriate for younger viewers. Ganjawana! Howdy, sir. How is Nebraska today? It's a little drier here in Houston right now, but it was plenty wet this morning. I've been chased in off of this porch at least twice. Oh, 7-hour drive. Let me see. If I am in Houston and I drive for 7 hours, I am still in Texas. Unless I go east. If I head out I-10, I can be out of Texas in about 2.5 hours. If traffic's flowing at optimal, I can probably make it in 2. I could get from here to Weatherford, Texas in about 5 hours. 2 more hours. That would put me right at around either San Angelo, Midland, Odessa, or oh, it starts with an A and I forgot it. You made Mutton Chop sing a song? Oh, that's awesome. Yes, Eddie, I agree with you. And if you ever happen to be in Weatherford, the Waffle House is the place to eat. And if you really ever happen to be at that Waffle House and there's a lady behind the counter named Brenda, tell her Stalker Man sent you. She'll know exactly who you're talking about. They thought I was stalking some of the girls that worked there. And I kept telling them no. I'm just here for the food. And then they finally met Holly like 8 months after I started going there, just about like 3 meals a day. Yes, Eddie, I do believe you're correct about him smoking straight Perique. Riveting discussions. Well, I'm not putting a plane together. Might as well have a riveting discussion. It's not so much that I just like Waffle House. It's that the 2 places I found that were up there that I really liked to eat at, and I was never really home, so I never really put a whole lot of stock into the food supply at the house, because most of it would spoil by the time I ate it. So there's a Buffalo Wild Wings, and right across the freeway from that is the Waffle House. And if I felt like having a beer and there was a sporting event on, I'd stop at the Buffalo Wild Wings, and if there wasn't, then I was probably going to be over at the Waffle House. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you noticing that I have that stalker vibe. It's a fun vibe to have from time to time. Not always, but from time to time. It's a little disheartening for some people. Well, I've been known to eat a box of cereal and a carton of milk pretty quick. So, yeah, serial killer. Where's my spoon? And one year for Halloween, I did go as Captain Crunch, carrying a knife full of fake blood. It's awesome. Yeah. Howdy, Jim. How's it going today? Quick, everybody sit there and say something that Jim can somehow, some way turn sort of a innuendo upon. That is correct, Chad. If you look at his outfit, it would definitely be Commander, not Captain. And by now, he probably should have been promoted to Admiral at least. I guess 3 and out doesn't count for Captain Crunch. By the way, I held off on asking about the Charlotte update until everybody was here. Portsmouth, how's Charlotte? You're probably tired of fielding that question by now. But we really like hearing about her. Okay, so we've got just a really limited time left before Chad will go live. Let's remind ourselves. Coming up, there's Chad, aka Yardism. Right after that is going to be Cane Rod. And somewhere right near the end of his show, Martin's going to start his Over a Pipe podcast. Well, YouTube podcast, however you want to call it. Tomorrow we'll be getting to visit with... It will not be Steph Kane. It will be Aromatics and Hello Kitty Piper. I think it's Hello Kitty Piper. Or is it just Kitty Piper? Katrina, his girlfriend or wife. I've never asked, so I don't know. Okay, so the 1 month checkup went well. Good, good. Are there booster shots coming, or are they holding that off a little bit because she was preemie? Just a curiosity. Okay, so it is Hello Kitty Piper. Okay. So in case y'all are looking for Steph and Skip, look for Aromatics. That's Aromatic with an X on the end. And he will be joined by Hello Kitty Piper. There's the Virtual Pipe Club. Rambling Dilettante. All briared up. Probably Simon will be on somewhere tomorrow as well, in case y'all need to watch a man that can crank out pipes faster than I can. Shouldn't be too hard. Oh, very nice. Very nice, Mark. Mr. Scripto, howdy, sir. Yeah, see, if they're trying to like give her like some sort of supervised special treatment and all that, then there's something to be worried about. But if they're just like, yeah, cool, we're good, then she's really doing well. A virtual slow smoking contest in the pipe club tomorrow. All right, well, I always get to miss the pipe club, but that's because, well, life happens, and Saturday is Holly's Day. Today would be Holly's Day because today actually is the 15 years of being engaged to me. So y'all can feel sorry for her all you want. All right, we've got roughly a minute left until Chad normally comes on, so he's probably not in here. Everybody get ready for the jump. The jump to ludicrous speed. No, not quite. And I'm not going plaid. At least not unless you've been eating stew made with peyote. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. I must have done something somewhat right. She still wants me around. Maybe she's just masochistic. Damn it. Didn't smoke it hard enough. It finally went out on me. That's fine. I can smoke it during Chad's stream. So we'll be enjoying that here in a minute. So I'd like y'all to remind yourselves, we want to take care of ourselves, and we want to take care of each other. We want to do the best we can on that because, well, let's be honest, we want to see every one of y'all back around sooner or later. And it's just how it is. And as always, I haven't seen Chad pop on yet. He was in here earlier, so I'm fairly certain he... Chad's now live. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you over on Chad's here in a second. And as always, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon.